The sun casts long shadows over the savannah as a pair of ostriches, one male, one female, move cautiously into unfamiliar terrain. Drawn by the promise of fresh grazing, they step beyond the bounds of safety. Not far away, a lion pride lies at ease, their young cubs tumbling in carefree play. The air is warm with quiet, broken only by soft growls and the rhythmic sound of padded paws against dry earth. The cubs, still oblivious to the boundaries that govern survival, roam freely near the edges of the pride's territory. But the ostriches, tall and alert, now stand where instinct warns but hunger dares. They do not yet sense the eyes that watch from the grass. For a moment, the two species share space, one basking in youth's innocence, the other stepping blindly toward it. Neither knows that the line between peace and pursuit has already been crossed. Among the lion cubs, one ventures further than the rest, its playful energy drawing it closer to the fringe of the unknown. It is a small creature, full of curiosity but untouched by caution, padding quietly over tufts of grass scorched by the Sunday. The air hums with unseen tension. Ahead, the towering shapes of the ostriches loom alien, swift-legged giants in a sea of golden dust. The cub pauses, nose twitching. It does not yet recognize the boundary it has crossed, nor the risk that looms just meters ahead. The female ostrich halts mid-step, her gaze narrowing. She does not feel threatened yet, but the cub's nearness is a variable she cannot ignore. Her partner shifts, talons grinding the soil beneath. Still, the cub edges closer, its world still too small to understand the cost of mistakes. The moment of hesitation vanishes as instinct overtakes uncertainty. The male ostrich lowers his head, feathers bristling, and charges forward. His massive strides carve lines in the dust, each step powered by muscle and precision. The cub freezes, startled by the sudden movement, then bolts in panic. It runs for its life, tiny paws scattering dirt, its heart pounding with the raw shock of the wild's first lesson. The ostrich doesn't chase in anger. It defends a future, eliminating what could one day grow into a predator. But the cub's cries pierce the calm, echoing through the grasslands. The distant pride stirs, ears lift, heads turn. The playful serenity dissolves as the rumble of maternal growls breaks the air. What began as curiosity is now a spark, one that will ignite the savannah's oldest equation, hunter and hunted. The lionesses rise, sinew rippling beneath tawny coats as their eyes lock on the fleeing cub. The chase has reversed course. Now it is not the ostriches asserting dominance, it is the pride reclaiming its own. With fluid grace, the lionesses surge forward, moving not as individuals but as a coordinated force. The dust churns beneath them as the savannah erupts into motion. The ostriches, sensing the sudden shift, pivot sharply. Their strides lengthen, wings half lifted for balance, hearts pounding. The flat plain offers no refuge, only speed. Behind them, the pride uncoils like a living net, each lion playing its role in the encirclement. What was once defense becomes flight, and what was once a lesson for a cub now becomes a test of endurance, wit, and the architecture of escape. Across the plains, the lionesses form a crescent, each one reading the terrain, adjusting pace, anticipating angles. Their strategy is tight, an instinctual cut off the escape, exploit a stumble. But the ostriches are not panicked. They don't outrun fear, they outthink it. The birds shift their axis, veering just enough to widen the breath between them and their pursuers. Their pace is unwavering, their bodies engineered for efficiency, energy converted directly into distance. The pride begins to fracture. Younger lions fall behind, the momentum slipping. Only two lionesses remain, seasoned and silent. The ostriches stretch into the horizon, and for a moment, it seems the gap will hold. But one hunter breaks the line, seeking a weakness not in speed, but in position. The pursuit tightens, and survival narrows to seconds. The trailing lioness commits. Her eyes lock on the rear ostrich, legs coiled like springs. She veers, calculating an intercept. The ostrich senses the shift too late. In one powerful motion, the lioness leaps, claws reaching, jaws parted. But the bird strikes first. A thunderous kick lands high on the predator's hip. Bone gives way. The lioness crumples, her momentum folding in on itself. Dust erupts where she falls, legs twitching, stunned by the sudden end. The ostrich, though shaken, presses forward, every stride fueled by the will to live. Behind her, the pride stalls, one of their own lies broken not by claw, but by a leg evolved for escape. The savannah holds its breath. Balance, that ancient currency of survival, has shifted again. The wounded lioness groans as the pride converges, not in mourning, but with instinct sharpened by hunger. Their attention shifts to the fallen ostrich, her body now still, her sacrifice complete. The feast begins before the dust has time to settle. Jaws tear through sinew and muscle, but not all meat yields easily. Ostrich skin is thick, resistant, its surface marked by the follicles that once bore feathers prized by fashion and trade. The lionesses search for entry under wing, thigh, the vulnerable seams. Carnassial teeth shear like scissors, slicing through hide with practiced ease. Elbows jut, shoulders clash. Space is a luxury. But the males wait, their presence heavy at the rim, rumbling quietly. Today, effort is remembered. The hunt was won by the lionesses, and so they eat first, because in this economy of survival, memory governs merit. While the pride devours its reward, one lioness lingers at the edge, eyes fixed on the horizon. The ostrich that fled still alive, still running haunts her instincts. She breaks from the circle, tail low, steps deliberate. Hunger urges her to gamble. A solitary kill may promise more than jostling in a crowded ring of snarling mouths. She follows the faint trail, a whisper in the dust, the memory of a shadow. But the distance grows. The ostrich is nowhere in sight, only the fading warmth of disturbed earth. Time bleeds from the chase. At last, the lioness slows, her body heavy with spent hope. She turns, not in defeat, but in calculation. Shade welcomes her return, and the pride closes its ranks once more. One risk abandoned, another quietly unfolding in the open lands beyond. Beyond the reach of claws and dust, the female ostrich rejoins her flock. Her stride slows, breath steadies. Around her, tall forms graze and scan a silent congress of survivors. She carries more than exhaustion. She carries life. Within her, eggs take shape, calcium drawn from her bones, each shell a promise. She is gravid, and every moment won is a moment given to the next generation. The grass sways, but she moves with purpose, seeking ground not just for rest, but for legacy. The male remains near, his posture watchful, a sentinel now returned to his own. There are no celebrations, no sound beyond wind and feather. Yet within her, a quiet miracle presses forward. The cost of escape is written in scars and breath, but its reward is measured in futures. She walks until the soil feels right, dry, firm, open to the sky. With careful steps, she circles, then lowers her body and begins to scrape. The nest is no more than a shallow depression, but its placement is an act of precision. Visibility in every direction, a breeze to cool without scattering sand. She lays her first egg with slow care, positioning it for warmth. In typical seasons, a dominant pair would oversee a shared clutch, many females contributing, one central hen keeping order. But now, with partners dispersed and threats nearby, she nests alone. Each day or two, another egg joins the growing cluster, pale globes aligned like sentinels in the dust. She arranges them deliberately, her broad toes pressing the earth with ritual grace. In this barren cradle, the future is quietly composed. Around her, the flock adjusts, some feeding, others watching. They form a loose perimeter, a quiet ring of sentinels in constant motion. She rises briefly to graze, covering the eggs with sifted sand to shade them, then returns, repositioning each one with gentle strokes. Ostrich feathers are built not for flight, but for insulation and display. Loose and airy, they shed heat in brutal noonlight. The mother settles again, her dappled plumage blending with the pale landscape. From the perimeter, a jackal ghosts the edge of vision. Eyes narrow, ears prick. A low boom erupts from a nearby male, deep and hollow like distant thunder. The mother stands, wings half flared. She hisses a dry, grating warning from a parched throat. The jackal pauses, tempted by protein-rich treasure but weighing risk. Instinct whispers retreat. Time stretches under the relentless sun, and within the eggs, life begins to stir. Each chick, curled tight, slices at the inner shell with a temporary tooth, an evolutionary blade made only for this task. Blood vessels withdraw. Breath begins. One by one, the eggs crack, releasing damp, unsteady bodies into the heat. Legs unfold clumsily. Heads bob, learning balance with each shaky breath. The flock draws closer, a living wall of protection around their newest members. But hatching is staggered by design. Some shells remain still, warmth needed to coax life forward. A territorial male settles gently over them, his dark plumage absorbing heat through the night. He shares the shift with the mother, trading stillness for survival. Around them, the savannah listens to the ancient rhythm of renewal, echoed in each heartbeat and chirp. The chicks, small and stripe-like shadows on the earth, rise within hours. Their steps are wobbly, but their instincts firm. They trail behind the adults, mimicking every tilt, every peck. Their diet begins with insects, termites, beetles, grasshoppers, dense fuel for rapid growth. The group moves slowly, wings lifted at times to shade the soft, heat-sensitive young. Each day, the chicks gain stride, their legs stretching with each sprint across the sand. But danger lingers overhead. When raptor shadows sweep the plain, the chicks press flat to the earth, vanishing into stillness. Only when the threat passes do they rise again, blinking against the light. Water comes rarely, but moisture hides in green shoots. Pebbles are swallowed to grind food inside growing gizzards. Survival here is taught, not inherited, etched step by cautious step into every movement. The jackal returns, silent and thin, nose to the wind. But the ostriches are ready. A territorial male breaks formation 3 bounding strides, and he's upon the intruder. Wings half spread, he booms and hisses, a flash of black and white rushing low and fast. The jackal retreats, circling back, eyes fixed now on the chicks. They walk, they feed, but remain soft targets. The second approach is met with even greater force. The male charges again, his body flaring to full size, his cry deeper than before. Deterrence is the goal, not combat. Every sprint expends energy, but every retreat buys calm. The flock settles only when danger fades. Stillness returns, but not naivety. The third time, the jackal tests again. The display scales up. Wings flare wider. The dust lifts. The line is drawn not with claws, but with certainty. The fourth charge is final. No feint, no warning, just full, relentless flight. The jackal yields, disappearing into the heat shimmer. The ostrich band regathers, easing into open country where vision buys time. Tall adults set the pace, chicks tucked close in their slipstream. Among them strides the lone female who once outran a pride. Now she leads with quiet precision, her new brood stepping where she dares. In this land without walls, formation is the fortress expanding where sightlines stretch, tightening when shadows rise. Each posture signals, each pause communicates. The chicks peck at beetles, then turn to shoots. Their bodies learn balance, their legs, rhythm. A blink wipes dust beneath the eye's clear lid. Behind the eye, a slit catches sound. One rustle can mean survival. And so the next generation learns, space is safety, motion is memory, and vigilance is the first inheritance.